So the next series here, or part of this series, is some scams that I've seen. Um, Commission-based financial advisors, they don't necessarily have your best interest in mind. If they are going to get a commission every year, say a 1% commission every year on whatever investments you buy through them, then they may steer you towards investments that benefit them more in their commission. So if you instead buy indexes, which is what I recommend, and I've recommended to my own kids, and I got a recommendation from um, a friend who has a finance degree from the University of Michigan when I was 21, and listened to that and made plenty of money off of those ETFs. I would highly recommend that you, until you meet the alternative minimum tax, or unless you really don't understand and need something explained to you, um, then I would pay a fee-based financial advisor, even if that costs you $500 or $200 or whatever. It's much better than them taking 1% of all of your investment every year forever, even if you lose money. So never do the commission based, always do the fee based. And it, in general, studies have shown you make more money by just investing in ETFs, which is the full market, rather than going through a financial advisor. So do that if you can. These derivatives, non US securities, sometimes they call them other assets, all these different types of equity. You got to be really careful when doing this. This is stuff for hedge fund managers, wealth advisors, not something that myself or the average middle class or upper middle class person should be dealing with. Energy assets, why are you going to buy energy and speculate on when there's going to be a need for energy and stuff? You got to be, again, you got to know a lot more about the market. These junk bonds and all this stuff, it's just not, it didn't work out for me. Commodities are the same deal. There's assets that are specifically intended only to be held for very short periods of time and then sold. Corporate real estate and things like that, international holdings, inverse investments, which are if the stock market goes bad in the wrong direction, then inverse investments will go up. Um, Gold or diamonds or silver or anything like that, that's a physical asset. Try to avoid anything that like that, and then really anything that's commission based at all, or anything you see a commercial for. Just avoid that. Timeshares, anything like that. There's no reason to go beyond the most simple, the most boring investment type you can, which is put a tiny bit of money on every stock across the entire spectrum, and that uh, should get you great returns. The or historically, it has. I'll say this: should not should it has historically given me 20 years of great returns, and historically over the last 100 years has given historically great returns. And to invest in those, you can pick an ETF like SPY or one like VTI, and those will cover an index across the S&P 500 and will track along those same 100 years of average 10% returns. So that's what I do. It's been straight up awesome for me since 2005 until now. So I would encourage everyone to keep that strategy of avoiding all these random things that may have some contractual trickery and may have trickery and commission based and all of that kind of stuff, versus an ETF where you can see that they have, $50 billion in assets. Fees are 0.19%. And, you've got hundreds of thousands, if not millions of people investing in the same fund. So that's all I've got for today. Just stay away from random things and go with the entire stock market. And that's it.